Throughout each installment of the Elder Scrolls game series, we have seen mighty heroes, dastardly villains, and everything in between come in many varying shapes and sizes. Some are just like you and me, some are significantly more hairy or a lot more scaly. Some are built like a brick wall and have a strong penchant for bloodlust and fury. Some have a much higher opinion of themselves than is probably healthy, and some just want to be left alone in peace, maybe with a sweet roll. With so many peoples and cultures with deep and rich histories and abilities, it can be a bit overwhelming for new players to even get their foot in the door and know which of the 10 playable races is best for them in the Elder Scrolls Online. And while any race can be any class or build, each race of Tamriel has unique benefits and drawbacks that promote certain playstyles, and if chosen for a particular class or playstyle, it can give you the upper hand competitively. It's an important decision to make right out of the gate, and will affect your time in Tamriel in a number of ways. Now, there are a lot of people who choose their character's race based off their lore, culture, or more commonly, they just like the way they look. And that's completely okay. This game can be played any way that you want to. And if you want to play a race as a class that doesn't really match the race's strong suits, then that's okay. As a disclaimer though, there will be people in the game, and probably in the comment section below, that will tell you, for example, if you choose to be a magicka using Redguard sorcerer, that you won't be taken seriously by the elite endgame content groups. And I want to stress that this does happen in this game, especially when you get to veteran dungeons and trials later on. And while that certainly can be true, there are also hundreds of thousands of people who play this game regularly, and you can find groups that will be happy to run with you, as long as you're playing your character well. Knowing boss fights, not dying constantly, doing enough damage, etc. Personally, I'm a strong believer in just playing how you want. It's a game, and your ultimate decision should just be what you find fun. And a big part of that fun can definitely be optimizing your character to be as powerful as they can be. But for those of you that are struggling to pick between Elder Scrolls Online's many races that they like the look of, want to know how to maximize their character's effectiveness, or even just want to get a better understanding of the races in general, I hope this guide will be able to answer some or all of your questions. What's up guys, my name's Mooney, and in today's video, I will be outlining the strengths, stat and playstyle wise, of each race and get a little bit into their lore as well. But with that lengthy introduction out of the way, let's just get into it. Number 10, the Imperials. Imperials are the race of men, perhaps known best for their diplomacy, and are the humans of Tamriel's great empire. Some Imperial characters that you might know are the Prophet and Abner Tharn. Their homeland is Cyrodiil, the land at the heart of the continent of Tamriel. At the time of Elder Scrolls Online, their province and empire is in shambles, and because of this, you can choose which alliance you want to join. And just so you guys know, in ESO, Imperials are not available to play as, unless you have the Imperial race upgrade. I didn't know that when I first played and was disappointed by that. Just thought I'd let you guys know in advance if Imperials are your cup of tea. Imperials have bonuses to their max health and stamina. They also have the racial ability to regain all three resources, health, magicka, and stamina, when they deal direct damage. They gain experience in the one hand and shield skill line 15% faster, and have a 1% increase to the amount of gold they come across in the world. Due to these benefits, Imperials make great tanks, and are valuable additions to any group. Number 9, Wood Elves. In their home province of Valenwood, the Bosmer, or Wood Elves, are masters of the bow. Some people have suggested that they invented the bow, and because of this, they have a 15% increase to the bow skill line. Skilled scouts and rangers, they make up a third of the Aldmeri Dominion. Bosmer characters that you might know are King Camoran Eridan and Aveli Sharbarrow from the ORSINIUM DLC. Generally sporting a friendly and humorous demeanor, out of all mer races, these elves are perhaps looked on in the best light by the human races of Tamriel, in-game and in the lore. Their racial bonuses reflect their natural agility and quickness, with increase to base stamina, stamina recovery, reduced stealth detection, movement speed, reduced fall damage, and a resistance to poison damage. These abilities and advantages make Wood Elves fantastic stamina Nightblades and assassin type builds. Number 8, Redguards. Known throughout Tamriel as the greatest swordsmen alive, Redguards have a long and storied history as sailors and sword saints from the lost continent of Yukuta. After it sank beneath the waves, they now call the desert land of Hammerfell their home. A Redguard character that you should be familiar with if you've played the main storyline or the Dragonguard quest and elsewhere is Sai Sahan. With a 15% experience increase to the one hand and shield skill line, they serve as warriors and soldiers in the Daggerfall Covenant. With racial bonuses of increased base stamina, stamina recovery, reduced cost of weapon abilities, and increase of the duration of eaten food stat benefits, Redguards make elite Dragon Knight stamina damage dealers and tanks. Number 7. Dark Elves. Hailing from their strange, ash-covered, mountainous, fungal forested land of Morrowind, the Dunmer, to their elven cousins, or Dark Elves, as they're known in the Empire, have a darker reputation, to put it lightly, due to their often dour, stoic, and xenophobic demeanor. In the past, they were one of the only races to have openly worshipped Daedra and practiced slavery, which didn't really help their reputation for being assholes. They now follow their living demigods, the Tribunal, and fight with the Ebonheart Pact. One famous Dunmer that you might know is the ancient Telvanni wizard lord Devaith Fear, or the Morag Tong assassin Naryu Virian. The Dark Elves' racial bonuses reflect their strong physicalities, agility, and powerful intellects, with increases to base magicka and stamina, weapon and spell damage, resistance to flame and environmental lava damage, and have a 15% experience boost to the dual-wield skill line. Dunmer make great stamina or magicka dragon knights, and are very versatile, promoting many viable playstyles. Number 6. Orcs. The Orcs of Hrothgar have been called many things: bloodthirsty barbarians, ruthless marauders, or perhaps more kindly, great smiths and warriors of the mountains of northwestern Tamriel. All of these have good reason to be said about them. Proud, strong, and reclusive, they march with their Redguard and Breton allies in the Daggerfall Covenant. One orc you might know is King Kurag, lord of the newly re-established city of Orsinium. Orcs' racial bonuses are an increase to base stamina and health, the ability to heal a small amount when you deal damage with a weapon, increased weapon damage, sprint and movement cost reduction, an increase to crafting inspiration, and 15% experience gain to the heavy armor skill line. Because of these, orcs make excellent tanks or stamina damage dealers. Number 5. Argonians. Reclusive, mysterious, and secretive might be the best way to describe the lizard folk of Blackmarsh. With perhaps the most alien and unique culture in all of Tamriel, a lot of their history and story is a mystery. Much of the impenetrable swamp of Blackmarsh is deadly to non-Argonians, resulting in a very isolated and misunderstood culture. One thing we do know is that their lives and religion almost entirely revolve around the sentient, hive-minded Hist trees. One Argonian you will know if you've joined the Fighters Guild is the Guildmaster Sees All Colors. Members of the Ebonheart Pact, they fight to protect their homes and family, with racial bonuses in base magicka and health, poison and disease resistance, increased stat recovery with potion use, swimming speed boosted by 50%, increased amount of healing done, and a 15% experience increase to the Restoration Staff skill line. Argonians make fantastic Templar or Warden healers. Number 4. High Elves. The Altmer, or High Elves, are the purest descendants of the ancient original race of elves, the Aldmer. Proud, intelligent, and perfecting, they are responsible for much of Tamriel's laws and governmental systems. The common speech, writing system, science, art, and religion used throughout the Empire come from these elves. Their island kingdom of Somerset is a reflection of their desire for beauty and perfection in all things. But this desire for perfection can have a dark side to it. Anything outside of their culture is considered barbaric. All other races, even their own cousins, the Bosmer, Dunmer, and Orzamer, are thought of and believed to be degenerates, and the races of man are disdained. The rest of Tamriel's peoples seem to feel the same animosity for the High Elves, viewed as arrogant, racist supremacists. But like in every culture and race, there are traditional morally good and bad people in it. many shades of grey. A good example of this dichotomy is the Queen of the High Elves and Aldmeri Dominion, Irene, being on the lighter side of the spectrum, and on the darker side, the King of Worms, the first Lich, powerful necromancer, and stealer of your soul, Mannimarco. But one thing all High Elves have in common are their racial abilities, being an increase to base magicka, spell damage, reduction of damage taken while casting, restoration of attributes after using a class ability, a slight 1% increase to general experience gain, and a 15% experience increase to destruction staff. These bonuses reflect the High Elves' natural talent as sorcerers and magicka damage dealers. Number 3. Bretons. The citizens of High Rock, the Bretons, are known for their flamboyant, poetic, chivalrous demeanors and culture. Their culture and natural flair is very much of the medieval knights in armor going on a quest to save the princess type. Descendants of both the Dyreni High Elves and Nedic men, they are truly a hybrid race. Their small traces of elven blood give them an affinity for magic that other races of men don't have, and their human physicalities are more muscular than most elves. Bretons you might know are High King Emmerich, or the Knight of Meridia, Darien Gantier. Their racial abilities show their elven heritage by having an increase to base magicka, magicka recovery, spell resistance, reduction of magicka ability cost, an increase to alliance point gain, and a 15% experience increase to light armor, making them fantastic magicka-based damage dealers or healers of any class. Number 2. Khajiit. The catfolk of Elsewhere are known throughout the continent as great thieves and scouts, pickpockets and assassins of the Aldmeri Dominion. Basically, stealth is their bread and moonsugar. Having a reputation as criminals and drug dealers has made other races wary of them. Their religion is a unique blend of Daedra and Aedra worship, with the two moons as their main deities. The Khajiit that every ESO player should know, and is one of my favorite Elder Scrolls characters, is the sassy Eye of the Queen, Razumdar. The Khajiit's racial abilities reflect their natural talent for stealth, with a 15% experience increase to the medium armor skill line, 5% increase to pickpocketing chance, a boost to total health, magicka and stamina base and recovery, and an increase to critical hit damage and overall healing. They make fantastic Nightblades and are very balanced in their playstyle options. And finally, number 1, Nords. The burly, mead-draining Nords of Skyrim draw heavy influence from the Scandinavian and Viking cultures of our real world. Strong of arm and towering over most of the other races of Tamriel, they cut an imposing sight. Their culture is very warrior-oriented. Most have a death wish, to die honorably in combat, so that they can join their families and honored Nords in Sovngarde, with a strong distrust for all peoples and cultures outside of their own, especially elves, that in my opinion, they actually shockingly draw very strong parallels to the High Elves, their greatest philosophical enemies. But don't say that to a Nord. You'd probably get an axe to the skull for even suggesting that, especially if you're in a city in Skyrim. Their ruler and exemplar of their culture is High King Yoren the Skald King, leader of the Ebonheart Pact. With ESO's newest expansion taking us back into Skyrim in 2020, I can't wait to see what they do with his character, and being able to learn more about the Nords and their homeland that we weren't able to learn in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Their racial passives are an increase to base health and stamina, ultimate resource gain, frost, physical and spell resistance, increased duration of consumed drinks, and a 15% experience increase to the two-handed weapon skill line. Nords make excellent tanks and stamina damage dealers because of this. And with that said, I hope this guide will help you be able to choose which race is best for you and the way that you want to play. Thank you guys very much for watching to this point. I'm a new channel and I wanted to say thank you to everyone who commented on, liked, and subscribed to my channel after my 5 reasons to play ESO video I made last week. Links in the description if you want to watch that. I'm going to be putting these videos out as fast as I can, and I really appreciate the support that you guys have shown. It means the world to me. But that's going to be it for me. If you guys like this video, then hit it with a like and subscribe if you want to see more from me in the future. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.